The year is 2001, and Apple is just recovering from its near bankruptcy in 1997, holding on with the iMac G3 when they eventually make an announcement that will change the company's future forever: the iPod. The iPod allowed Apple's identity to shift from a personal computing company to a company who makes devices that fit in your pocket. Suddenly, everyone has one. Then, in 2007, Apple makes the iPhone, the next device that fits in your pocket. The iPhone sales start to climb, and as they do, the iPod sales decline. But now, nearly 25 years later, many people are picking up and dusting off their iPods once again, including me. And this is a story about why. The early 2000s was a simpler time for many of us born in the 90s. Life was uncrowded by many of the distractions that we face today. I think a lot of 90s and early 2000s kids look back on this as one of the better times. A real sense of nostalgia accompanies this time period, and during this period, there's also a real sense of ownership. You buy games on disc for your Xbox, CDs for your music, and DVDs for your movies. Things are yours, but things are also kind of expensive, though not as expensive as modern times. Because of this, piracy is running rampant. Companies are doing everything they can to stop it, and so Apple has a crack at it. Launching alongside the iPod is iTunes. iTunes revolutionizes music. A big contributor to the piracy problem at the time is that people only want one or two songs rather than a whole album. Apple is now willing to sell you a song for 99 cents. This makes access to the music and individual songs a lot easier and cheaper. You also have the huge benefit of getting rid of the ads, which are running rampant on the radio. So this is a game changer at the time, and as iTunes' popularity goes up, piracy really starts to decrease. That being said, there's still more piracy going on than the media labels are comfortable with, so in 2008, the same year that the iPhone launches, a small Swedish company named Spotify starts. The same year, Apple also announces the App Store, a place where third-party applications can be downloaded for the iPhone. Spotify takes a file-sharing service originally developed by Napster, but instead of being free and illegal, Spotify starts charging a monthly streaming cost while also introducing an ad-supported free version. This free version, while ad-supported, has less ads than FM radio at the time. This is the first time the freemium model is introduced in the music space, and needless to say, it blows up. By 2014, Spotify overtakes iTunes in terms of profit. I also don't want to discredit Spotify because it created an incredible value for the money and ease of access in terms of people listening to their music. So, the iPod has been declining in sales this whole time. The iPhone and the App Store are eating away at iPod profits, and in 2014, the very same year where Spotify overtakes iTunes, Apple discontinues the iPod Classic, the last thoroughbred iPod. The iPod Touch does still exist at this point, but it looks more like an iPhone without a cellular connection. People will argue with me on this, but here in 2014, I consider the iPod to have officially died. Then the years roll on, and these streaming companies, including Spotify, start to increase their pricing. The same Netflix plan that costed $8 in 2014 now costs $20 per month, despite having a more limited library. And at the same time these costs are rising, the cost of physical media is starting to come down, especially used physical media. So your $13 per month Spotify membership can actually get you a lot more CDs than it used to. Plus, you only have to pay once for those CDs. But there are still, albeit rather complicated, ways to put downloaded music on your smartphone. So why are iPods specifically making a comeback? A large part of this comes down to distraction, something you just want to play music on and take a walk or make some art. But you know that if you go on that walk or make that art with your phone, it will be blasting notifications at you constantly. Phones, more specifically the apps on your phone, are made to capture attention at all costs. And in a world where every app, everything on your phone is using you, It's nice to have something that reminds you of the original purpose of technology, to be something useful. The final reason is intentionality, and it sort of goes hand in hand with this distraction point. People want to feel like they are making their own choices to do things, and with music and streaming services, so often people feel more like an algorithm is guiding their listening journey rather than them choosing what to put on. So, this is the place of the iPod. And as for why it's making a comeback now, I think that's the simple fact that people want to own things. People want to be more intentional, and people want to be reminded of this promise of technology to make our lives easier rather than using us like human batteries in the Matrix. As for me, I like my iPod because it's a distraction-free way that I can listen to music in the evenings when I'm going on late-night walks or just winding down. And also there's a tiny bit of nostalgia. This was something that I grew up with. I remember it very well and very fondly. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you liked it, please subscribe. I'm trying to reach 100 subscribers, 103 specifically, before Christmas. Alright, thanks so much for watching. And I make new videos every week, so I'll see you next one. Bye.